Welcome to the more or less regular Monday to Tuesday puzzle stream. We're going to pick up directly where we left off a week ago. Last week I spent probably about 2 hours working on this one-screen puzzle by Big Red Boy, Grandpappy's Wooden Puzzle Box, which has very few clears on it so far. And we seemed to get through most of it. But there were a few elements at the end that kind of stumped me, and I just went on way too long with it. So I think after having sat back for about a week and gotten a chance to review some of my own video, I think I may have some new ideas for what to do with it, but we'll see if anything works. So let's dive back in. Okay, so just as a review, you can see from the end gate that the implication is that you have to make it there with Yoshi and the Buzzy Helmet in tow, so you can jump off Yoshi, bump the Muncher with the Buzzy Helmet, take damage from Dissolvolate, and then get to the finish. So here's the central concept of the level. That depending on whether you go through the doors from right to left or left to right, you manipulate the on-off state because of the way that this spiny shell travels at the start. So if you go to the left, the switch goes off, and if you go from left to right, the switch goes back on. But then there are some additional state changes depending on whether you're going, say, on to off or off to off. And it'll all be clear when I show off the different states. So for example, if you go on to off while traveling right to left, that gives you the POW block. When you go through here quickly, for example, and go off to off, traveling right to left, that gives you Yoshi. So I'll just map out quickly what we had figured out so far. I had figured out that if we go on to on, as when we initially spawn in, what we see is that you have the vine spawn accordingly. Now, from here... Oh, whoops. I kind of messed that up. I was going to maintain the 2-tile height so I could continue to tap the on-off switch while riding Yoshi. Because the idea is that if I tap the on-off switch, then I can send this shell up and use it to get to the left side, because... or rather carry it with me to the left side, because the idea is that I want to be able to hit, or rather get over to the bone shell without destroying it, but while the vine is still active. So this is what we had figured out so far. We had also figured out that the POW is able to activate this on-off switch here. Now this attempt is already kind of blown, I think, because of a bit of an inaccuracy I did. Now you can kind of gently reset, at least at this stage of the puzzle, because if you just restart from scratch, you can just respawn everything in its original form. So, same idea as from the start. You grab the POW, you double back over here, grab Yoshi. So we can reset so far, but I think I will probably run into some time trouble, given that the first 100 seconds or so were effectively blown. But we'll walk through it anyway, just to have a little bit of a review, so all of this is relatively warm. So as you can see, we're not constrained by the one-way panel right now because Yoshi will take me through the door at a 2-tile height, which means that I can hit this and create a passage to the left side. The reason I want to create a passage to the left side is because then we can take the spiny shell with us, and the spiny shell gives me access to the bone shell. Oh, except no, I messed this up again, in fact, because I only want access to the bone shell once the vine under the P block has come up. So a lot of stuff to keep track of, and a lot of attempts that we can potentially lose to simple execution mistakes, which is unfortunate. The bone shell, however, is quite powerful in this level because what it does is it allows you to hit these central on-off switches at any given time. So it could be that this attempt is actually not in as bad shape as I think it is. Thank you for the anonymous cheer. not in as bad a shape as I think it is, because what I can do is I can still activate these switches in the middle, but actually no, I am in rather bad shape, I think, because this attempt has already spent far too much time, first of all, and secondly, let's try to get it here. Yeah, secondly, what I need is the on-to-on transition here to give me Divine. Followed by... Oh, this is interesting, because I already have the Bone Shell, but I still need to activate the snake blocks to the left in order to push the P-switch. So that's the idea. Given that, though, I think I actually should be okay. Depending. Yeah, because, no, I'm not, because I needed to be able to activate my way over there. Yeah, I can do that with the Bone Shell. That's fine, actually. Because then I can hit the snake block. I mean, this will not be the run. This is really just to demonstrate the mechanics of this level as a bit of a review so we can do things into correct order afterwards. But the idea is that if you have the snake block push to P while the vine is already activated, then you have the ability to get up here and grab the P and wrap your way back around. But in order to carry the P back over, we want to keep Yoshi, I think, and so... Oh, whoops. Yeah, that's... Like I said, it's going to be a totally blown attempt. Yeah, because you want to keep the P, go back around. We don't really want to lose Yoshi, but Yoshi is not too difficult to get back if we need. It's just that we need to do the off-to-off state like this. Off-to-off gives you Yoshi consistently as long as the spiny shell is still alive at the bottom row. Now, obviously, if you capture the spiny shell, then it doesn't spawn at the bottom, and there is no switch activation. No, we want the on-to-on interaction, so that's going to turn on. Then we flip. That gives me Divine. I believe I'm holding the P-switch right now, yes. Okay, so we're kind of back on track. Again, with about 100 seconds ago, this will not be the attempt. But the idea, and this is as far as we got previously, while being fairly certain that we were on the right track, but the idea will be to hit the P-switch, grab the key off the question block, and I attempted on a couple of occasions to grab the Bone Shell to the left. I think that actually is still doable. If you position yourself well, you should be able to bounce off the shell and get to the left and grab the Bone Shell. I didn't actually manage to do that successfully on my last series of attempts, but I think it actually is a feasible way to do this. Now, the trick is that ultimately what we're missing, and why I was stuck here last time, is that we do need some way to get the POW back out in order to get rid of this muncher. And the problem with getting the POW back out is you see it as a blaster that has come into the left side. The blaster causes all kinds of trouble because it means we can no longer go from left to right, and we can also no longer reobtain Yoshi if we lose him. Because Yoshi can't get through this door. And so the entire method for getting Yoshi in the first place, because Yoshi only spawns in the off state, in the off-to-off state, is to have the left side door available. So if you don't have a way to get Yoshi through the central row here, then you just wind up losing him completely. And that's not going to be good news because of the way that Yoshi is actually required to get through the final gate once you are past Key Door. So let's start over. Let's try to do this a little more cleanly. And we'll see if we can show off the solution properly this time. Okay, so that's the preview of the goal screen. Very nice Fizzle to give you that. so you know exactly what the conditions are for exiting out the door. So we'll just respawn everything here. Okay, Yoshi's going to go over to grab. And then we go for the tap. And then the POW drop. After the POW drop, what do we have? We have this, which then allows me to attempt the bone shell. Now, this is always a little bit of a risk, because I find that I have trouble landing on a spiny shell sometimes without taking damage by, say, accidentally slipping off the corner of the ground block that I'm standing in right now. But if we manage to do that consistently, we should be okay. Alright, so that's going to be a push. Ah, no, I messed this up because we needed to do all of this with the vine already activated. So let's just start over. Lots and lots to remember in sequence in order for this level to go anywhere at all. So, despite being a one-screen puzzle, it does almost have a bit of a troll-like logic to it, not because it has any of those counterintuitive elements of a troll level, but because you do need to trace your way through a very precise sequence of actions that you learn over time. So, let's go back here. Let's go on to on, such that we get Divine Spawn. Once we get Divine Spawn, then we'll attempt to grab the Spiny Shell. So, one moment while I acknowledge the raid from Grikowski coming in with a party of 2. And hello, Deathmask. And welcome, Grikowski, so. And Redbeard, welcome as well. Yeah, Redbeard, glad to have you here. We've managed to clear a few of your escape rooms on the stream in previous weeks. I don't know if I'll have time for one of those today. We are trying to finish this one screen that I had worked on for about 2 hours last week, and I think I got pretty far. But we're still missing some kind of essential element to it. Deathmask, if you do have a puzzle, I'm only doing puzzles today, but if you do have a puzzle, I might punch that in informally depending on how long it takes to clear this one. The only reason I'm not running the Qbot is because I don't want people to be waiting all day if we're stuck on something for ages and ages, but you're quite welcome to suggest a code. I just can't guarantee that I'll get to it the way I would during viewer levels. I messed this up already. I wanted to hit the on-off switch up top. Yeah, so this was not right. Let's start over quickly. And yeah, Grikowski, I don't know if you actually managed to finish the Redbeard escape that was on your stream earlier. I didn't manage to stay for too long. Okay, let's see. Okay, on to off. There we go. On to off gives you POW. And yeah, the way I got this code, I didn't see Acorn's solution, but I remember just seeing this pop up on Acorn's stream, and I jotted down the code at the time. So I've remembered nothing about it, but I believe he actually had the most recent clear on this. Okay, so what are we doing? Yes, okay. Yeah, I felt like I was quite close to something the last time I played this, but there were one or two things that I could not quite sort out yet. And we'll just have to see, but I think I had mapped out a path that looks mostly right so far, so. And yeah, Deathmask, if you're still around after we complete this one, I may be able to fit yours in. But it depends, of course, on how long this one takes me. Okay, so I want to do the double tap here in order to grab this, and then take the POW in order to activate the on-off, which will get me through the gate to the left. So that's what we have so far. You were mostly glazed over, struggling to convince your body to metabolize the caffeine. Yeah, given the hour that Acorn tends to run puzzle streams at, I think that's a very regular experience. Okay, let's bounce over here. This whole sequence so far is pretty well established. I like that this is kind of trapped out of the way, but also still available. The only way that... Rather, the only reason that we would want to capture the Spiny at this stage, though, is if we wanted to prevent the central switching mechanism from activating, I think. So I don't actually want to do that. What I do want to do is go up and get the P-switch. And so that'll be progress. So yeah, this much I'd figured out. I'd also figured out that I don't want to hit the P-switch right away because I don't actually have the opportunity yet to get the key from the question block. So I want to take it around. And if I take it around, then what we do is we try to spawn Divine once more. We spawn Divine by going on to on. Now the question is, do I try to tap the on-off switch to get the Spiny up to my level so it's obtainable, or do I leave it down there? If I leave it down there, what we've discovered is that it has a rapid alternating activation of the on-off switch. So that's what we saw in the previous attempt. One thing that I had not tried previously is that I also noticed that the top shell, if you send it down to the right through the bumper, notice how in the bottom right the bomb is going to blow up the on-off switch there, as well as the ice block, opening it up for a shell activation. So if I kick the shell to the right after obtaining the key, I think that would also work as an alternating switch. But the Spiny works as an alternating switch as is, it just that it works very quickly, so... Mamuga, finishing past puzzles is exactly what I'm trying to do. This one is one that I worked on for 2 hours last week. And we got most of the way through. I think it was maybe after you left, though. And yeah, Mamuga, it's very true that I have a bit of a backlog of unfinished puzzles from previous streams at this point. And this is one of them, so... But yeah, I definitely have a list of things that I still have to get back to, and I've been saving the codes, for sure. Some of them I might have to save for longer until I actually have some kind of insight or idea about how to do them, so... Let's try this, and then let's try this. Okay, good. That actually worked for once. I still don't know if that's actually an intended solution, but the spacing of the P-blocks over the snake block seems to imply it. Now, I hope I didn't actually need that shell, but I don't think I do. So yeah, this is the idea I had in mind. If we... So, we can no longer re-enter anything using Yoshi. If we lose Yoshi at this point, I don't think there's actually a way to get him back. Because Yoshi is only ever obtainable if the switch is in the off state, coming out the door on the left. And now Yoshi has no way to get back to the right because of the way the blaster blocks the door, so... However, even though the level specifies that you have to get out the door with Yoshi and a Shelmet, you only need Yoshi for a jump off Yoshi, and it occurs to me here that you don't actually need Yoshi for that if you have the Bone Shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do the on to off transition, and then I'm going to try to duck into the central position so I have access to the switch with the Bone Shell, because I don't want to get locked out the left side. I need to wait for the switch to stay on, and then I go through the door. And then I have to duck in this way. So that gives me access to the POW. And I think this is the way to actually do it, assuming that there are no complications with using the POW instead of using Yoshi. That if I take the POW, and let's be careful with execution here so we don't make any mistakes. The point of this is that I need to kill the Muncher in order to proceed. So you kill the Muncher, smack the door, and then you go through here. Now here's the question. Whoops. Hang on. Accidentally hit up there. Can I get through? I should be able to. Yes, I can. And that is the clear. Now, I don't know if that's actually the intended solution, because I thought the bit with the alternating switch was a little bit weird, because it meant that we never actually interacted with the switches that opened up on either the left or right. So yeah, I want to go back into this one quickly. I might also see if I can chase B-Chin's record there. That's a 2-minute 30 record, because I think since we have the solution mapped out, I might in fact be able to do it. Yeah, Mamuga, I mean, it kind of seems like a legitimate solution, but, you know, we'll just pop back into it quickly to show you. And thank you for the GGs, by the way. So you see how the initial room here kind of signals to you that it wants you to use Yoshi plus Bone Shell? Like, I think it's actually kind of a clever insight at the end if you think that, okay, we don't actually need Yoshi, we just use Bone Shell and we do it. But the thing that makes me kind of second guess this a bit is the fact that we didn't end up using either the on-off switch that is opened up by the ice block here, or the on-off switch that is open to the left when you drop the blaster with the P-switch. Because it's felt like those were kind of supposed to be based on shell hits, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me just try to get back to where we were before I obtained the bone shell, and I'll show you that. And Deathmask, we finished this early enough that I will play yours next. But let me just try to walk through this and see what we might have missed on possibly an intended path. I'm not exactly sure if I sort of did the primary solution or merely an alternate one. But let's try to keep track of what's going on in this level. I do need the on state over here. And after doing that, yeah, I need a hit. Oh no, I need a second hit. Yeah, no, let's do this one more time. Yeah, so I'll try to show off the sort of alternative that I was considering, even though I'm not going to walk through it the whole way. And then I'm going to see if I can beat B-Chin's record, because it seems rather efficient. But there's a lot that I need to track here, memory-wise. Because this is a pretty complex thing when it comes to the number of states that look very similar to each other, but aren't exactly the same, so yeah, this is the idea, that we pop this guy up, we pop him up again, grab, take Yoshi to the left, and then pop up here, and not die to this corner here, which is a major liability. But let's just wait for this guy to come back across, and we'll show you how that looks. Bump over here, grab this guy. And yeah, that's going to get a push on a P-switch, which gives me the shell minutes. Whoops. Okay, Buzzy Hat on. We grabbed a P-switch. Come back around. So this is the part where the other idea I had becomes relevant. So let's try to get Divine going again, first of all. So previously, you'll notice that here, at this moment, I did not push this switch further, and I left the spiny shell intact on the lower level, because then it gets that sort of alternating pattern. If, however, I release it like this, as I did before, then grab it. I was thinking, like, I hadn't actually interacted with the on-off switch that was in the bottom right corner, and the way that I would do that is, if, for example, you do this, you grab the coin, the key rather, and rather than using the shell to grab the bone shell, you do this interaction here. So we've kind of locked ourselves off from getting a bone shell, and the idea is, if you wanted a solution where you would carry Yoshi through with you, Like, this looks a lot more sensible, doesn't it? That it looks much more like the thing that's supposed to happen, because you don't have to have the weird little execution thing of running through the gates when they're going at full speed. And you're actually using the switch on the right side, so... But the problem here is that I could never figure out with this method whether there was any way to re-obtain the POW while keeping Yoshi. Simply because Yoshi is just no longer able to travel through doors anymore at this stage. So, let's just do one quick run here just to see if I can get a speedier clear using the method that actually did work. I'm not going to stay on this for too long to do stuff like this, but because I do want to get through the next puzzle. But let me just see if we can squeeze the time a little bit, just as a bit of an experiment. Very high likelihood of just losing track of what I'm doing. This is not well optimized, obviously. It's just an attempt to be somewhat more efficient. Okay. And grab the POW. Drop this guy, come over here. Up we go. And through. Yoshi can't go through the right door. No, but you can kill the Muncher with a POW. That's the idea, that if you're able to get the POW that spawns out of this blaster later on in the level, then you can kill the Muncher and Yoshi goes through. You have to kill the Muncher with the POW anyway, because even if you're one tile high, it actually doesn't let you go through either, which was kind of surprising to me in some ways. That, for example, I mean, I can show you once I have the key. Oh, wait, I was going to do this quickly, wasn't I? Let's do it again. Ragcam, yes, this is in the Ghost House theme in Super Mario World. We did already solve this puzzle once. I'm just trying to squeeze the time down while seeing if we actually did an unintended solution. It wasn't quite clear if what we did was actually correct. Okay. So let's just do this once more. Ah, yes, we need the on state in order to get the spawn on the right side. And hey, Natcat, welcome. Okay. Drop this, drop this. Yeah, clear check time was actually under 2 minutes, so the record was not at all tight. What was I doing here? Ah, yes, okay. Really easy to just get confused over some of this stuff, if you're not careful. Ragcam, I'm glad you find me skillful. I think sometimes that's questionable, depending on the sort of content I play. I mean, recently we've actually struggled quite a bit with some puzzles that I've been doing, but that's because I've been taking on harder and harder ones that people have been sending me, so... Okay, what was I doing? Yes, we need to stomp on this, grab the bone shell, and up to get the P-switch, down with the P-switch, Yoshi grabs it, and then we respawn Divine by going on to on. Okay, so, yeah, so I do want to keep the Spiny in that position, so we do this, send this guy to the left. Okay, moment of truth here, good. Now we did find previously that I didn't actually need to keep the Buzzy Shell here. I can, in fact, just... Whoops, this is going to slow me down quite a bit. This did work previously, though. Let's just try to get a better timing on this gate. That's why I didn't think this was the intended solution. Like, that just looks way too finicky. Okay, on to off. We get out before we get crushed. Grab the... Oh, no, I messed up. I'm supposed to go through this gate. after I exit a door. Otherwise, I have no opportunity to activate a switch. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, Gronkowski, we did solve it. I think I had an unintended solution. I'm trying to just improve my time on it right now while thinking about what we could have done differently. But I actually did map it out, and we got the clear once already. In the time that you were gone, which seems terribly convenient. And you know what, we don't need to wait for the switch activation to do on-to-on over here. We do, however, need to drop this. This will not exactly be speedy. I'm actually kind of sure that my solution does not look like the primary solution at all. For a couple of reasons. It looks plausible, but... And it looks like something that may have been intentionally left open. But it looks harder to execute, and it doesn't actually interact with all of the available elements, so... I have my doubts. As you said, Gronkowski, you did see Acorn solve this separately, and so maybe you have some insight as to whether I'm doing something even remotely similar. Oh, whoops. Shouldn't have activated this early before the shell came down. Losing a little bit of time here. Okay. Take the P-switch around a whole loop. I don't know if I actually need Yoshi for this anymore. Yes, I do, because I need to be able to hit switches, maybe? I might actually not need Yoshi at this point. Okay. I do want to leave the spiny shell down there. And then go like this. Then go like this. And then pray that I can do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and you see what's going on here with the blink. It looks pretty fussy. Let's not screw up this time. I have to duck immediately under into the central section so I have access to the switch. We hit this. We then stomp the POW without killing the bone shell. That's very important. Then hit this. And out we go. Nope. Whoops. Once again, accidentally hitting the up button. And let's grab this. So what was that we got in the end? Probably about 140 seconds. I think I might have beaten Beechin's record on this, but not the creator time. Yeah, so that's world record. I mean, you know, with a lot of inefficiencies in there, but I was kind of wondering what my solution was able to do, so... Yeah, thanks, Redcam. I mean, that clear was some work in the making, as I was saying earlier to people who had come in at the beginning. I had kind of worked on this puzzle for about 2 hours last week, and established most of it. Like, we'd gotten up to obtaining the P-switch, but not much further than that. But yeah, as you can see, very few clears on this. Clear check time just under 2 minutes. And most of these people are pretty well-known to puzzle players. I mean, as people who know how to solve this stuff. Like Ada's Comfy Basilisk, I think. Beechin and Acorn are pretty prominent puzzle streamers in their own right. Anyway, I'm comfortable putting that away. I do think that my solution was probably questionable, but we'd probably have to talk to Big Red Boy for that if we can find some way to get in contact. So, thank you for the GGs. Let's take a look at Death Mask at how things are going. I don't know if that time will last, to be honest. It's not efficient or optimized at all. And as you can see, it's still 20 seconds behind the creator clear, so I think the creator clear time is going to stand very well, unless somebody really tries to push on this. I don't tend to speedrun puzzles, I just wanted to get a reasonable time to see how it compared, since it seemed very doable. Anyway, Deathmask, you previously said your code was going to be 68P, BG3. XPF. Glad we could get to this quickly instead of being stuck on the other one for an hour or more. And you were saying it's a short and sweet, non-traditional puzzle. Villa du Déjà Vu. The difference is the key. So this was from about a year ago, almost exactly a year ago. A world record by Slayorius, whom I haven't actually seen online in a while. I did used to watch his stream from time to time. I think he was also a puzzle player who was from a software background, and you actually do see that crossover quite a bit for all the obvious reasons. Yours is going to be a piece of cake compared to that one. Well, I mean, you know, the other one took time. Okay, let's scout this out. We just need to find out what's in this. Mushroom over here. Clock over here, pipe over here to take you to the subworld. Let's check the door first, just to see what's going on. Looks like, okay, so it's going to bring you to a room that looks similar, except it is going to have a different start with the pipe. Coin block over here. Let's just tap that a bit. 3 boos. Alright, just going to do the initial mapping out, so we'll kind of do it breadth first, and we'll just remember that we still need to check the pipes that were on the other side of that door. Okay, so I think given the similarity of different rooms, the thing we need to do here is track whether we are in the main world or subworld. So previously when we went through the door, we were in main world 1. Right now we're in subworld, so world 2. And that gives you a mushroom over here. So that's going to be important because you have a couple of identical rooms and we need a way to tell them apart systematically. Whoops. Mistake. So yeah, this was in subworld. This was where we grabbed a 30 coin. Let's just proceed over here. Oh, and Grakowski, you did play this one. Okay, I see. So we're now back in main world. Let's check to see if this door was matched to the starting location. Yes, it was. So we know now how that part of the maze is going. So we also know that because this is going to be a loop, like this pipe here is going to be irrelevant. You can also kind of mark locations that you've been to by activating the blocks, of course. So you know if you're seeing something new or something that is already old content. We are now back in the subworld. Let's just activate this. Let's just see how this is matched. And okay, this coin is still available. Let me just loop around here. Ah, okay, key door. So we know that this has been a bunch of new content. Let's go back here to check the block, because I don't know if one of the blocks may be holding the key. That's one thing that we should keep in mind. We should also check around some corners from time to time. So yeah, the idea behind this level is just, in the manner of the classic Super Mario World Ghost Houses, just to kind of confuse you with non-linearity. And with identical rooms all over the place. Seemingly identical rooms. But we've now found the key door, and I've already lost track of whether I'm in main world or subworld, but yeah, we just need a very systematic way of exploring and to remember our path. So yeah, I've already kind of lost track a little bit, but we know that we are 2 pipes to the left of the key door. That there is going to be some kind of looping structure going on here. Let me just try to do the whole loop just to see if we understand the overall structure. Okay, I saw this and thought, okay, no block here. There's got to be something, and there is. So we have it. I mean, I can just go right through the pipes and we should have it. I think that's going to be all there is to it. I mean, we did skip over a lot of rooms that we didn't check, but I think as a navigational puzzle, probably best to just avoid that and get out. And let's see. Let's just get into the Boo Ring here. Grab the 1-up for Endless. I'm sure we're getting close to the exit. Not exactly super systematic. I've been more systematic before with other levels in the past. This one I kind of lost track pretty quickly, but... There we go, that's a clear. Pretty good, though. Very much a kind of situational awareness check. And exactly the kind of puzzle that, you know, was the original inspiration for the Super Mario World Ghost House theme to begin with. I mean, that was very much what Nintendo was doing originally as a style of puzzle, and it's always kind of nice to see some stuff like that really testing your understanding of just the basic main world and subworld structure of the editor. I think people who don't play with the editor, if they ever play something like this, they would have a lot of trouble with it. But if you just kind of understand the door limits and the, you know, kind of things that would go on from the editor's eye view in terms of pipe connectivity, this one can go down pretty easily. I am not approaching that 18 second world record. So thank you for the GGs. You used to have this in your Super World, but people don't like puzzles in those. I guess unless they're in a bit of an optional hut on the side, or if you've just got a world that's mostly puzzles. But I don't know. I mean, you know, if audiences want to crash against that, that's their problem. So thank you, Death Mask, or Level 97 Mudkip, as the case may be. Since Grikowski is here and hasn't quite totally crashed yet, let's actually look at some recent Grikowski puzzles. I'm a little bit behind, so... Yeah, we hadn't played the two most recent ones, so... This one's very new, from just a few days ago. This one we may as well catch up on first. Step Safely in Sandstone Slope. And yeah, Deathmask, thank you for coming by. So Deathmask, we actually do have a regular set of viewer level days. That's in the same time slot on Friday to Saturday and Saturday to Sunday. And so that's our regular viewer queue, but I try to dedicate at least one stream a week to some, you know, curated content like puzzles that take me a little longer, because I think some levels need a little more breathing room than you get when you are just running a regular viewer queue. And Redcam, thanks for coming by, and thank you so much for dropping by. So glad you enjoyed what you saw. So here, Step Safely in Sandstone Slope. Jumping is hazardous. Serious injury or soft lock may occur. So let's see what that's all about. And yeah, Redcam, there is a whole Mario Maker logic puzzle scene that is amazing. It's, I think, something that really brings out the nature of this game is just a fantastic puzzle playground, because we all share this one common rule set that we can kind of apply to our logical reasoning. So the object here is to get the key, and the object here is to get the key by way of activating the note block. Oh, reach the goal without landing. Let's scout this out first, and then we'll pay attention to that. Let me see if this is just a regular turn block. Yes, it is. So the idea is that I will be doing a bunch of object placement and throwing in order to elevate something to that position. As always, with a Grikowski puzzle, really love the decoration in this one. You know, like you're in a little bit of a mole burrow or something, without any moles because they've all been exterminated. I'm sure there's going to be something, you know, here that really takes advantage of the fact that you have... let's not bump that like that. Really takes advantage of the fact that you can have some weird interactions sometimes with this particular clear condition. Yeah, okay, no. To drop the POW safely, we have to activate the P. Activating the P drops the POW without activating the POW. Now, the thing about the POW Up throw will kill it immediately, but if you do something like soft drop on top of the spring... Let me just drop this. If you do something like a soft drop on top of the spring in this position, I think the POW should actually be able to lift the blaster higher. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case. Also, I know that this would not be the first Grukowski puzzle to, you know, have some item pushing logic, perhaps. And Redbeard, you're not always great at the mechanical logic puzzles, but you made it through this one. Yeah, actually, Redbeard, it's been quite refreshing to see that, I think even among escape room designers, you're one of the few who really leans into word puzzles, and that tends to be a very good fit here, because the sort of B game that we stream when I'm not doing Mario Maker is Scrabble, and so it's very much something that would appeal to a lot of the same skill set in some ways. Okay, so I think if we actually have the P activation, then we're able... Oh, that's interesting. Ah, okay, so I want to get the blaster up to the top position. One way to do it is by killing this block using the P-switch. If the blaster is in the top position, it should be able to fire, and fire in such a way that this gives you the key. Now, was it the case that the only spring is the one that comes out of the blaster? I think so. So you would need to do what we did there and get the blaster to fire a second time up top by placing the spring in this third row from the bottom such that the on-off activation is able to kill it. So the thing that we haven't figured out so far is what to do with the bone shell. Because the bone shell is only available after the on-off activation. The on-off activation is going to kill the spring here. And then what does that do? Because the idea should be that we also need to think about how the P-switch activation is going to work. Because right now we don't actually have a good way to press it, I don't think. However, yeah, no, we can't actually hit this block with a throw because hitting it causes problems. However, if we do some kind of drop, no, maybe not. Yeah, because anything we throw up at the POW is going to activate the POW, and we don't want that, I don't think. Activating the POW also kills the bone shell. We need the POW to drop softly, but I don't have a way currently to hit the P-switch. I don't think. Yes, we do. Okay. If I did that faster, I would have been able to get it up top. And then I do this. But I would need the blaster to be up top to begin with. And then the question is, what do we do with the bone shell? And I'm actually not clear on this. The bone shell might just give you some additional activation I don't know about yet. But let's start over. And let's take a look. Anyway, we have some things resolved. We know how to activate the P. The way we activate the P is by chucking it under the blaster. When we chuck it under the blaster, we can also chuck the spring under the blaster. And then we have access to the POW, and then we also have access to the bone shell, I believe, except... yeah, I'll have to think about that. But let's say we do this. Oh no, that's too high. And also, that's going to get into... Oh, POW is going to drop the coins. Yeah, no, we want to do a coin drop with the POW because that destroys the uppermost block. But then we would want to do that before the P activation. No, we can't do it before the P activation because P activation must come before POW. However, well, let's think about that because the thing the POW is useful for is coin drops. And so that may be part of the idea here. That yeah, we can do this, but well, we'll have to see, because let's say I do this first. Tuck that in that position. Does the P activate if I do a P throw like this? If it does, the problem is that you still need a POW activation to drop the top coin, otherwise things get stuck. And thank you for lurking, Red Dungeon. And Grokowski, I'm glad you enjoy the stream titles. Sometimes I start the stream a little bit late because I'm still thinking of a title. Today that was not the case, I was just starting a bit late because I was doing so, but... Okay, we'll see. Let's see. Okay, that doesn't quite work. Okay, good to know that, for sure. Yeah, so now I think we're missing the ability to do this, unless... Oh yeah, we got it. Not quite, though. Up throw here would drop the shell. Let me check a few item priority things. Yeah, we do need the spring to ultimately end up in the lower position there, and possibly we need to do a few other things first. Activating this immediately would, of course, just kill the blaster. We don't want to do that. But we can raise the blaster, and then... yeah, tossing anything against a POW will kill it. And we don't want to do that. But here's one consideration, though. P-switch doesn't actually activate this. If we want the bone shell to be alive, we drop the bone shell over to spring. If the bone shell drops on top of the spring and it's bouncing, then the POW doesn't kill it when it activates. So for example, we could do something like that. We could drop the bone shell, toss in a P. We can kill the POW immediately to drop the coin. Bone shell is active on the left side. You can reactivate this. Bump the blaster... oh, no. You can't bump the on-off switch that early because the blaster will die. But let's think about that. Yeah, let's just do the things that are not really interdependent, I guess. So we don't want to hit the on-off switch yet because the blaster is still in the way. We do need a P activation eventually. It's okay to tuck the spring there. We actually do want that because that will kill it. But then that will immediately fire a second one. That's the issue. However, yeah, and you also have a bit of an issue here now, too, I think. Okay. In that bone shell... I'm gonna hit the POW. Yeah, that just resets us back to where we were before, but in a slightly worse state, except with the bone shell available. Oh, having the bone shell... no, if you bounce on a bone shell, that's game over. So you never actually want to get into it. You do want to perhaps... well, you can't actually soft drop it because pressing down will get you into the shell, so you can't soft drop the shell without jumping, which is a bit of a problem. So currently I don't know the role of the bone shell. That's the thing that we're having a bit of uncertainty over. I also don't know what the coin drop on the top right is going to be unless the POW activates pretty early. Unless there is a way that we can, yeah, maybe get the blaster up to that position first. Let's think about this. The bone shell is a big mystery to me right now. I just don't know what it's supposed to interact with. Quite possibly something supposed to drop on top of it and bounce, perhaps. But I don't actually know what it's useful for. It could also be useful for perhaps being kicked towards a POW. If you want a POW activation that's from a distance, for instance. That's how you would do it. You switch over here. Yeah, there's no particular reason to ever wait on the P-switch, I think. Don't want to kill the blaster. We do want to... Well, let me think about this, because... Yeah, P-switch will activate immediately. P-switch will also activate the top right block. Let's say we do activate the POW immediately. It kills the bone shell, and that's the only liability. So let's say we do this, then do that. Yeah, now we have no object to throw to the on-off switch. Because the idea is that we want an object remaining at this point that will allow us to hit that, and then that grabs the key. So we're short of one object throw. And that kind of works, though. Mostly. So that seems to be converging on something. So the idea then, I think, is probably... Well, we do need the POW to go down fairly quickly, except once the P-switch expires, the only coin we're actually worrying about is the one in the middle here. Like, we can drop the middle coin so it doesn't kill the blaster, and that's perfectly fine. So, for example, we do... let's position things accurately. The P activation, followed by using the POW against the on-off switch, which will drop the shell. Yeah, okay, no, I think this might actually work. Let's see if I understand it. No, we can't kill it that early. We have to get the blaster into the top position first, after the P-switch expiry. The P-switch expiry, though, will kill the blaster because of the coin that is still active in that location, so the POW must come at that point. But you can also have activations of the on-off switch that, once you get the blaster out of the way, that's actually fine. So, for example, you do this. You then do this, and then you hit this. And then you go through. Okay, no, that was salvaged. So yeah, no, I was not stuck. That was just one little adjustment to have the second spring actually be put to use. Okay, got it. Not optimized at all. Seems like that was kind of almost a bit of a salvaged attempt, actually, but thank you for that. Let's do the other one, Clown Car Drone Control. Very recent, from this week. High in the sky, the clown car hides behind scars of jank accusations. Well, we'll see how its behavior is going to go here, and thank you once again for the GGs. Okay, reach the goal while holding a trampoline. Yeah, we can do that eventually. Interesting key placement over there. Yeah, this is just reset doors. Oh yeah, I have to remember that I can actually jump again. Sometimes when I've played a no jump level for a while, it's easy to just forget that when you go into the next thing. So I'm sure the idea is that you actually have to maneuver the clown car using object drops into the clown car and manipulate the behavior that takes it up or down or follows you depending on how things are going. For example, we can come up here. Actually, let's check this quickly. Okay, thought that was probably going to be out of reach, but good to verify that just to be absolutely sure. What we need to do is not kill the spring, because that's a definite risk. So we do need... no. We don't need to do anything differently there. However, if I go back down to the spring, you run into some issues. Unless, of course, you used a reset door as a way to smuggle an item through, which is entirely possible. So, for example, you can always do this. I'm just thinking about how to actually get the key, though, because the key looks like it's going to depend on the clown car in some fashion. That's... Maybe I need to ride the clown car and its intersection with the ground tile up top when I bump into the ceiling may actually be what gets the key. So let's say we bring the POW back here. It should respawn the spring. Oh, that's interesting. That's the on-off state has been reset. Okay, I guess that's an off-screen mechanism that does that, but that's okay. We have the power of POW to do this stuff now. And that will take me through here. It feels like I am supposed to do some kind of item drop here, though. Which means that... Well, let's take the clown card through somehow, and... To do an item drop, though, this needs to remain open. For it to remain open, I do need to stand on something. POW on top of spring allows me to jump up here as I like. So, for example, if I do POW on top of spring... Well, let's see, because the on-off switch needs to be open for sure in order for me to do much. But actually, no, I should be able to, for example, place this here. Whoops. No, that was accidental. Okay, let's do a full reset, because let's say we do this. I'm actually allowed to go up here. That's a very important thing to know. Because it means that if we have this sort of reset back in position later on, then I'm able to take the POW with me to do a drop. Maybe not, actually. So let's say I do this. Go over here. Take the POW with me. Over here. And... we know that the on-off state resets if I go through the door. That would preclude me from doing anything up top, though, with... the POW. Okay, so... yeah, I need to think about how I can do some kind of object carry and object drop into the clown car, I think. I clearly don't have room to ride it out myself. I need to be able to bait it out somehow. Using some kind of item. So yeah, let's just think about that. Because, yeah, it's not going to go through this way. For sure. But I need it to go up somehow. I need to do some kind of object drop on it. Tapping this switch here isn't going to do much for me right now, I don't think. However, if I place an item on top, and then tap the on-off switch, then that will do the drop. So, for example, you place the POW over here, come over here, tap that, then you should be able to lead the clown car up here until such time as I'm able to get down here and obtain the POW for myself. I will eventually want to take the POW over to... whoops. Am I stuck? No, I'm not. The left side, such that I'm able to get into the key door. Oh, I hope I'm able to jump still. No. Okay, that was close. What I wanted to do was ride out the clown car a little further to the left, so... I mean, we can do a soft reset. We don't really need to restart. In fact, what I can do is... I mean, this is effectively a restart. Let's just start over. Lower that clear rate a bit. I think the early flow of it is fairly clear, though. The idea will be to grab the POW, come back over here, run around, reset, drop this over here. Whoops. No, we need to move the clown car first. That can be done, though, because we can still jump around using POW plus trampoline, so... let's move the car. Whoops. Just a little bit to the left. A little bit further to the left. Move this here. Tap. Move the POW over. Okay, there we go. Drop. Lead a target. And then we actually do want to fly back over. Am I able to do it? Not like this, I don't. What I would want to do is drop the POW into the clown car once again to raise it up to the top level. Let's think about that for a moment, because... yeah, I definitely want to send the... oh, you know what? No, no, no. I don't need to do any of that. I need to be able to Okay, no, we can do it this way. We can send the car back to the middle section, such that I'm able to just fly everywhere. So we can get this out of the way slightly. We get that out of the way, and then I'm able to take... How? Let's take the clown car over here, just to avoid any issues. Oh, that's spectacular. And yeah, that just gets me over directly, in fact. No need to fuss around with any additional switch activations, at least not here. Oh, forgot the clear condition. Yes, that's important. I needed to drop the POW here and then take the spring into it, which is okay, we can do that because the clown car is available. That's not hard to do, so... however, it might be fussy enough that I will perhaps consider just restarting. Just for simplicity. Yeah, because we're doing the same interactions anyway, so let's just restart. Because we are going through the whole same sequence. Just completely forgot the clear condition, once again. It's always interesting to see moments like that in puzzle levels where some kind of information that is totally available from you, from the start for you, is just easily forgettable, and then it comes off as a final twist, even though you were warned about it all along. I feel like a lot of one-screens actually have that element of, look at this, I bet you've forgotten this. And let's see, and I fall for that a lot, as you can see. Okay. Let's bump over here. Yeah, I run into those a very large amount of the time. And that's okay. I mean, I always like the sense in playing puzzles of getting closer and closer, where you feel like, okay, I have the solution with one adjustment. Because there is that feeling of being on the right track. And I think it's always a sign of a well-designed puzzle when there's this good implicit feedback for getting closer. And we have yet another raid. This is going to be from Zero Plains. Let me just give you a quick shout out. Always happy to have Zero bring his Sharky crew over here. So yeah, do let me know how the stream was going on at your end tonight, whether it was more first clears or some other ongoing project that you've been working on. But you beat a puzzle in Super Expert. Congratulations. I highly approve. And okay, let's get the car over here. We'll hijack it. And bring it down to get the key. Super Expert tonight. New personal best of 14. Very nice. Including a puzzle, I guess. Although, hopefully that puzzle was kind of gentle to you when it came to any actual deaths that would have taken away from your Super Expert total. Let's drop the POW here. Thank you for all the new follows, by the way. Always glad to have you folks here. For those who don't know, so I am primarily a Mario Maker streamer, but before I ever started streaming, Zero Plains was actually one of the first people I submitted my levels to, and always enjoyed a stream from that moment on. And so, really nice to see that community stick around with Super Mario Maker in the long term. Okay, let's just raise the car this way. That's much fancier, in fact, than anything else I had in mind. And that's okay. This is going to be the solution. Drop this. Take the spring. And here we go. And UAH Graduate 2021. First of all, congratulations on graduating in 2021, if that's indeed what you did. But yeah, we've definitely heard that comment before. There are some people who think that I should be running a Mario Maker program on NPR or something, where, well, I mean, if you want to tell NPR about that and suggest that, you're quite welcome to do so. Ceremony is this month. Okay, congratulations. I mean, I know it's, as with most people, not really the kind of full ceremonies that people were used to pre-pandemic, but you know, it's the accomplishment that counts, so much for the clown car drone control. And Zero Planes, yeah, I mean, I finished one at the beginning of the stream that took me about 2 hours last week to partially solve, so I'm glad I got that out of the way quickly, and we've been doing a couple of speedier ones since. So Mamuga, yeah, this is a new one from Grukowski from earlier in this week. It's just from a few days ago, so. UAH Graduate 2021. You would love to announce that I would be your best friend forever. I hope I kind of have the sort of perspective correct here in terms of the first and second person pronouns. But anyway, you know, now UAH Graduate 2021 is our new best friend. Friendship ended with, I don't know, whoever was your predecessor. So since Grukowski is still here and apparently still ticking, let's see what we hadn't finished. Oh yeah, I guess you had this one level here that wasn't actually a puzzle. We'll do it at some point. But we had a lot that we hadn't actually finished earlier. We haven't actually done any kind of escape decoding today, and so we can take a look at Escape the Christmas Crossword. Pen and paper recommended. I may have to get out the notepad. And Redbeard, thank you so much for dropping by for so long today. And happy puzzle making, Redbeard. Always happy to have the constant supply of your mega escape word puzzle extravaganzas. And yeah, Zero Planes, congratulations once again on only taking one death to timeout on the puzzle. I'll have to go through your played list or your VOD to see what puzzle that was so I can at least grab the code for myself. You're quite welcome, Zero Planes, to grab that for me as well if you want to submit it. I'm not properly running a queue today, but I am taking suggestions. So let's have a bit of a change of pace though and do an escape. I see a Chichiri record of about 35 seconds, which tells me that there's probably just a code entry or something that can easily be sped through. And yeah, Zero, I'd be happy to take a look at that directly after this one. And yeah, Mamuga has been very good to level hunting for this stream as well. Always nice to have some scouting. Yeah, I was off for a few months from October to February, and so there are a whole ton of Christmas levels that I'm catching up on all the time. Also, I love how well aligned this is with Undo Dog just doing his Santa Claus thing in the background. Flying around everywhere. It looks like it's going to be S o'clock. Except the clock is moving backwards. Because Santa is a time traveler. P-door over here, okay. Oh, it's a sleigh, and Red Yoshi and Yellow Yoshi are pulling the sleigh. Looks like the arrows probably matter. And that this sequence here of all the gifts that are being delivered probably also matters. But let's scout out the level first, and then we'll eventually probably just take some screenshots. Yeah, because notice the signage where everything seems to have one block type and one arrow. Yeah, Zero, thanks for sending that. I'll probably tackle that after this one. So yeah, okay, so everything has a block type and an arrow. And so I'll probably eventually come back and take screenshots or notes. All of the block types, well, some of them seem to be different, but you see the P doubled over here, so it's not... This looks like a quotation block as well, where Boom Boom is saying the P down, because, you know, peeing upwards would be unhealthy. Yoshis are pulling the sleigh. You've got Christmas trees. You've got a door. More signage. I don't know yet if the various curves leading up to the diamonds particularly matter. Hut 2 with a cloud. But 3 with a key door, okay. And a stump at the end, which is interesting. Because, you know, it's a puzzle and this is here in case you're stumped. And yeah, Mamuga, thanks for doubling it up in the Discord as well in case things get lost in chat. Do I even have my Discord open? I don't. I usually remember to launch it just to make sure everything's fine. Anyway, let's fly around. Oh no, we're going to lose the cloud very quickly. Yeah, thanks Mamuga for saving the code for me just in case. May as well scout in case there's anything interesting whatsoever. Seems not. Okay, let's check the doors. Door number 1 is going to be what? Door number 1 is going to be a shape that corresponds to a grid that has all of the different block types, but not in the same order. You'll notice, yeah, that the order is slightly different, but it looks like it's a kind of coordinate system where you have to... Oh, it's a crossword. It's a crossword. Yeah, we can do these. Okay, no, I get it. That's... So, this is a row and column system, where instead of numbers for rows and columns, you have various blocks. The clues, therefore, are all bound to particular objects, and the clues give you the column or row as well as the direction. So this is P down, this is P across, this is donut down, and this is note pink note block across. And everything is kind of bound to a particular object, such that there's going to be a clue that's associated with them. So let me check the other room first, because we see crossword number 1, and there might be something more elaborate in number 2. I don't yet know how the... Okay, there's a fireplace with a tree, and there are more clues up above, I think, yeah. Oh, look, it's a little star. Twinkle, twinkle. Oh, there's another door in there. Oh no, that was the entry door. Candy canes... Okay, this I don't know about yet. This is interesting. We don't know how to decipher that yet. But it seems like you have a bunch of pairs of blocks, and that each of the pairs probably has some kind of row and column correspondence to the crossword grid. Such that if you have a particular coordinate system, they probably spell something, where the letters on the grid give you something interesting. And this is the code entry, so we need to figure out how to translate things into a 4-digit code before we launch the snake block, which will drop something down here, assuming that we've hit the correct number of POWs. So, okay, I think at this stage we've actually done all the mapping. We need to learn how to translate things to a 4-digit code, and I think it's going to go like this. That's this room to the left has 4 rows. The rows are probably going to give you numbers. Which is interesting because if each of these actually just spell numbers, that actually significantly constrains the numbers that can be represented, depending on, of course, on how many POWs there are. I'm going to check what the upper limit to the POWs are going to be, just to see how big the stack is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, easy. Because we know that this is actually going to constrain the search space. In that, if these all spell out numbers, there are only so many numbers that have 3 letters, so, you know, 1 and 2 and 10, and so on. 6, I guess. And only so many numbers that have 5 letters, like 7, 8, etc. Not that you could brute force it that easily, but I'm just saying that I strongly suspect that these are going to be crossword locations that spell numbers. So here's what I am going to do. I'm going to screenshot the crossword room. And, you know, we might as well actually do this properly and fill it out. So here's the crossword room. And we'll do the... What is it? The final numbers room as well, in case we have any trouble figuring out... Yeah, actually, no. I understand the numbers room too, why everything is on a diagonal, because I think that that's going to correspond to the coordinate system in that... Like, so the top left one here would be row, cloud, column, turn block. And UAH graduate, you follow 162 channels. Yeah, I don't know how many I follow. I've had to prune some from time to time, but I'm also on Twitch enough that even after a lot of pruning, there are just far too many interesting people around the clock. I'm glad you're enjoying your Samsung 9. I guess that was perhaps your graduation gift. Okay, so we're at about 30 seconds, so that will be likely a timeout. But we can just try to... yeah, we'll fill everything out as we go. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy things onto a notepad. So just give me one moment here. And I'm glad we set this up. In fact, I'll even tap out of here quickly so I can make sure I share the code with all of you. So this level is going to be 6CG FH5 VGG. Let me just paste that in chat for anybody who's actually got some paper. And then I'm going to bring up my notepad in just a moment and make sure it's working. Yeah. I set this up back when I started playing escape rooms last year because it's hopefully a bit more comprehensible as an experience on stream. So next, I'm going to take a look at my screenshots. We'll just set up the grid. Okay. So we're going to look for a couple of clues here. I don't even need to set up the full grid, in fact. I can just do certain positions. So, for example, ice down is 4 letters. And donut down is 6 letters. Actually, no, let's do it this way. Ice down is just 4 letters, donut down is 6 letters. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. We can do it this way. I'm not exactly doing columns in order. Let me just reorganize my notes. Let's say down and across. So we're properly treating it like a crossword. And let's just reset this. Across. You're going to have cloud across. And that's going to be 6. You're going to have donut, and that's going to be 6. And you're going to have ice, which is going to be 7. You're going to have 8th note, which is going to be 9. You're going to have P, which is 4. Down. Let's actually hide this for a moment. Hide the display at the bottom. Down is going to have ice 4, cloud 5, donut 6, P, which is going to be 6, and spike, which is going to be 4. So, if I'm correct, that should be 10 clues in total, yeah. That looks good so far. And then we're going to be looking for letters that are in particular positions, according to this, but we can go back to that after we've actually solved a crossword. I mean, we could, just use heuristics here to shortcut things, but let's actually do it properly and try to at least read the clues to fill things in. So, note screen off for the moment. Let's get back in. What's the most followers an individual of follows? I'm not exactly sure which metric we're talking about. In terms of like the person who's following the most other people, or the person who's receiving the most follows, or what? I think some of that data is actually obscured nowadays. But anyway, here's 8 note across. 8 note across is going to be the Santa Hut clock thing. 9. 9 letters, really. Probably something like North Pole, to be honest. Because it's Santa's headquarters, right? And, yes, it's a compass where everything is pointing south. So the compass is spinning around and pointing south. This is the North Pole. So let's write that down. 8th note is going to be North Pole. Okay. Next. You've got donut down, which is going to be 6. I was thinking something like gifts, but that doesn't fit. It's not loot. It's not presents. It's not Amazon deliveries. Although that's 6 letters. Oh, I see. No. It's pointing to specific things here. So this is the sleigh, actually. Because we know that this is P across pointing to the P balloon, I think it's just a gift. Let's put a question mark next to it because I'm not totally confident with that yet, as it's something singular. We can check it against the crossword afterwards to see if the guesses actually match and see from there how to constrain things. Cloud down is 5 letters, and it's Boom Boom, but Boom Boom is apparently Santa. Santa is saying something. I bet it's actually Ho Ho Ho, but let's see. P down. It's 6 letters. I'm going to say it's Ho Ho Ho. Let's put a question mark next to it, as that's a bit of a guess. And yeah, I'll read. Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's sleigh. On a scale of an individual that follows X number of streamers. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, some of that is less accessible data than it used to be, I think. Partly because a lot of data... I mean, if you were talking about that strictly, like by account, a lot of that data would be clogged up with bots anyway, right? That the accounts that follow the most channels are almost certainly all bots, if you think about it. And so even if you were able to farm that data, like, it would not actually be very revealing or useful. What was I doing here? Ice across. Ice across is 7 letters, and it's not going to be Red Yoshi. It's probably going to be Rudolph. Okay, let's do the remaining clues. How many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's one. A cloud across is going to be 6, and it's going to be snowman, which is going to be frosty. And the stump here is just going to be a stump. Or stump. Okay, we wanted to enter hut number 2 because the remaining 3 claws are up top. And yeah, UAH graduate, lots of people are going to call me that. I've heard just about every variant and pronunciation possible. Okay, donut across is going to be... oh, 6, interesting. Because I was thinking this would be like holly or something, but this I'm actually not sure of yet. Spike down is going to be 4. Spike down is just going to be tree. And ice 4 is just going to be star. Okay, yeah, this I was totally sure was like going to be holly or something. But it's some other kind of Christmas decoration. But that's okay, we can fill this in by... oh yeah, already, I guess it is a wreath. It definitely is a wreath, actually. The Wreath of the Lich King. Okay, so that should be it. Let's go back to the crossword itself and see if this stuff actually fits. And yeah, I'm just going to cross-check it just to make sure that things are going to match up. So, for example, I mean, actually, I'm fairly confident in all of this stuff. So, but we'll just kind of check the intersections in order. So, going left to right, the first one is going to be the intersection between the R in Frosty and the R in Ice. That's correct. You know what? Let's not even do that. We can skip that. Let's just assume it's correct until we run into trouble, because we're going to get something comprehensible here or we aren't, right? So let's do the codes. So the codes are going to be something that's 3, 3, 5, and 4. If I'm correct, these are all going to be numbers. So we'll just go cloud and turn block. Cloud and turn block is going to be the 3rd letter in cloud across, which is going to be O. So yeah, this is going to be 1. I mean, let's just kind of do it by fuzzy logic first, and then we'll see if I'm actually correct. Hard block and cloud is going to be the 4th letter in cloud down, which is the 4th letter in Santa, which is just going to be T. So that's going to be either 2 or 10. So we actually do need to see the 2nd letter. It's going to be donut and red. Donut and red is going to be the 1st letter in donut across, which is going to be wreath, which is just going to be 2. Okay, we have something with 5 letters. That's going to be P and blue state block, which is going to be the 1st letter of P across, which I believe is going to be... oh, maybe... so the P balloon I was marking as a gift, but I wasn't sure about that. And actually, I want to check this now because the gift would not line up there with the solution to P down, which is ho ho ho. Let me just check ho 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 according to the 2nd character, whether it's going to be something that lines up with North Pole, and yes it does. So yeah, we're wrong about identifying P across as gift. It's going to be something else. But what we can do is, so this is wrong. What we can do, however, is take a look at the 2nd letter perhaps and see if anything is different. hard block and P. Hard block and P is going to be H in ho ho ho. So first letter is unknown, second is going to be H. That actually tells me that this is going to be 3. So the P... So the gift clue, or the one that I guessed as gift, is actually going to be like T-O something something. And I don't actually know what it is, but let's just go with that as our fuzzy logic solution. I mean, we can take a look at a third letter in there as well. We can also constrain things with the available character set that is even in the crossword to begin with. But sure, we can just verify this by looking at ice and cloud. Ice and cloud is going to give me the first letter in ice across, which is going to be Rudolph. Yeah, this is going to be 3. So this is going to be T-O something something. Last one is going to be cloud and... Yeah, already, yeah, you're absolutely correct. It's got to be toys. For sure. But last one is going to be cloud and let's say toys. You're right, because having it as a plural makes a lot more sense, although I was thinking of it as pointing to one specific gift, and so that was maybe not the most gifted estimate. What was I doing? Cloud and red block. Okay, that's just going to be the first letter in the cloud across, which is Frosty. That tells you that this is going to be 4 or 5, so we do need to do the second one. That's going to be 8th note, quarter note. 8th note, quarter note is going to be the second letter in North Pole, which tells you this is going to be 4. So the final code is actually just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Because, Santa's passcode security is just like that, I guess. So let me get a note screen off for a moment while we try that. UAH graduates, trust me, we have seen some puzzles on this stream. I would say that Grikowski's puzzles, like, they're very well designed, or very, very pretty. But next to some of the stuff that we've seen, like, this is definitely a kind of a gentle introduction to this kind of puzzle concept, for sure, in that it's a much more controlled environment, I guess, than some of the stuff we've done. Amazing, that's the same combination you have in your luggage. Grikowski, I would have assumed that you just had, like, the name of your cat or something. Given that apparently there's a strong correlation between the most popular names of cats and the most easily guessable passwords that are often leaked in various hacks. That, apparently one of the most common passwords is something like Shadow, because a statistically significant number of people named their black cats Shadow and also use that as their password. So there's a cybersecurity tip for you. I mean, it's only, also the combination on your luggage, because as we all know, Grikowski is, in fact, Santa Claus. Bringing us puzzles week after week. And if we clear them, we avoid the lump of coal. Okay, let's take a look at the code I got earlier from Zero Planes. But yeah, UAH Graduate, this is a great set of puzzles from Grikowski. A lot of them are more kind of mechanics, logic-based puzzles, but there are a couple of things that are clue-based escape rooms here and there. But yeah, we've done some crazy stuff. I mean, so this is, relatively accessible as far as escape puzzles go, but I think a very gentle introduction to the things that people enjoy about the form. Let me actually try to bring up your maker code. Let's see. Because UAH Graduate, if you're looking for this kind of thing and, you want to see better puzzles, this is a fantastic profile to be looking at. Okay, Zero Planes is going to send me the code that was earlier. Yeah, was FM9. Now, if you did come in with Zero Planes stream and you did see this played earlier, please don't spoil the solutions unless I explicitly ask for hints, since some of you would have been spoiled on this already from the previous stream. But you are free to kind of, you know, sweat along or laugh along when you see me crash against things that Zero managed to figure out very, very easily, as somebody who says he's no good at puzzles but has recently been solving quite a few of them. If you steal the P-switch and go through the P-door, you get reminded about one of Santa's rules. We need to go back and see that, but let me play this one first. I'd completely forgotten about the P-door, actually, but that's a good point. Okay, so this is from homie Nick. Nick's SMM2 one-screen puzzle, number 23. A pretty hard puzzle for Lord Woe. And apparently this was drawn in Endless, with a clear rate of about 3%, which tells you nothing when it comes to puzzles, unless it's like extremely low, which tells you that they're fussy execution things, probably. But actually widely played and fairly well liked, so let's see what this is all about. So Already Zero's last puzzle was the first puzzle you've seen. Okay, well, something has to be somebody's first. And I'm sure a whole world has just kind of opened up to you. Okay, so nothing we need to do here before we get kicked out past one-way panel. The object here is to get the key from the note block that is on the right side. We're not able to get through that ourselves, so we need to send something over that will be able to hit the block. Also notice that once we grab the key, we have 2 key doors available, but we don't know which of those is actually going to be an exit, because, yeah, we need to clear holding the POW. If the 2 key doors that are on the screen are actually bound to each other, then neither of them is the exit, because I don't see anything like the gates being disguised here. What we can do is we can check the pipe to see if it is actually an exit. It's not, but it does drop a red Yoshi over and over. So that's kind of interesting, because we have 2 key doors, we have 1 key, and if the 2 key doors are matched, neither of them is the goal. Let me just check this location here. I'll also check to see if this is built on the implicit scroll stop. Ah, it's because it's castle and the axe is over here. Okay. So it's a little larger than one screen, but that's because once you scroll over here, effectively that's one screen, I guess. It's just that there's no scroll stopping on the left side. With a bomb activation here, you get access to Green Yoshi. I don't know why you would want to just yet, but maybe we'll find out. One way you could do that, of course, is just by blowing everything up, although you need to be aware of the fact that you would lose access to the red block down below. Also, we've already hit Yoshi limit, so we actually do not have access to Green Yoshi if 2 red Yoshis are on screen. If 1 red Yoshi is on screen, then we're okay. So we can always find some way to kill off 1 Yoshi, perhaps, or get it to despawn by, say, going through a reset door. So, for instance, you go through here. Oh, didn't expect that. Yeah, for instance, you go through here, it just kicks you back out. Then, because we're not tapping these blocks here, we should have access to Green Yoshi, assuming that I can come over here. Yeah. So yeah, 2 Yoshi limit, that's how we do it. I did, however, already activate the flower, which is a bad idea because we probably needed it for something. Like, for example, hitting this bomb over here. Hitting that bomb over there doesn't do anything except it hits the hard block. I mean, that's a fairly linear interaction. I don't think there's a particular reason to wait. Okay, so I'm beginning to see the shape of this. Let me see once more how this is matched. This is matched to the POW door, okay. I think Green Yoshi is supposed to snag that, actually. So let's do that. No, we don't want to spawn that guy. He switched over on the other side, too. Let's get over here. Pretty sure Yoshi snags the POW. Once Yoshi snags the POW, then you have access to that door. However, yeah, the POW is just going to be immediately hit. So I think spinning the POW is not actually going to activate the key, but we can try it. No, it doesn't. That hits on the side. I actually wonder if a different positioning would have been able to hit there, but let's run around a little bit more if I can. Of course, the other missing piece of the puzzle here is Fire Flower, where... yeah, I feel like taking Fire Flower would have been useful. So the idea is that if I have another on-off switch activation, which we don't currently have access to, then I would be able to go through this gate and get through the right side. Clear condition, yeah, clear condition is activating the POW block, not carrying the POW block, so the clear condition actually seems kind of redundant, to be honest, unless I'm missing something. It looks like the P and the spring at the end, unless you're supposed to go there prior to activating the POW, aren't actually going to be that functional. Also, the other thing is that notice that if you come through this door here, you can only be one tile high in order to drop down to the next door, unless this hard block gets blown up first. The hard block can get blown up if you have something like a bomb that you're able to lead into this location. You would have to grab the bomb, come down there, and throw it, though. So for example, if you do this... oh, nope. I have to throw a little bit better, but you get the idea. Okay, so we want to not activate that guy yet. In fact, if the bomb comes over and drops that, then we actually get a Fire Flower. I don't think we necessarily... thinking about whether we want the Fire Flower. Because I don't know if the tile height restriction would become a problem if we do. Anyway, let's reset out of... no, let's... yeah, I see here that either we missed the Fire Flower completely, or we just have a bit of a pain going around it. This is indeed a puzzle? Maybe so. Yeah, we still need to do something to get a spit, perhaps, on the right side. Some kind of object that we can dump to grab the key. I was hoping it would be the POW, but it didn't seem to hit when I tried it, so... oh yeah, we need to activate everything here. Whoops. Should give me access to green. Okay. Let's head over to Mr. Green. And... That allows me to grab the POW, but I would need to respawn through here. Yeah, the drums when riding Yoshi. Well, I mean, obviously, you know, in Super Mario World originally, Yoshi just refused to enter castles and ghost houses with you. Here, he's a bit more cooperative. Nope, not quite. Let's reset and do that again. I think that's doable. We don't have the key, though, so this is not actually that useful until we can get the key. Probably, I still think that it's probable that you can do the POW throw there, but the problem is that you need the POW once you go through the key door in order to take out the top muncher, because the top muncher is going to respawn. So, also, we totally forgot to blow this hard block here earlier. But let me just test some interactions, even if we are not really doing them properly for the clear. I just want to test some things out. Just to see... no. Yeah, that's kind of a weird landing here. I think it's doable, it's just a little bit fussy. Because other than bouncing the bomb through there, I don't see a good way to do that segment. But it is a little bit of a weird execution challenge. I know, we got it. Let's grab red so we can blow up the other bomb. Now, I am going to try the POW drop because we can always respawn a second POW once we spend the first one. And then we have to deal with the reactivation of the on-off switch. Because having activated it once already, that's actually troublesome. That it kind of seemed like I wasn't supposed to do that, perhaps. Or that I'm supposed to go for some other kind of switch reset elsewhere. Like, once we activate the on-off switch once, is there a second one that we can hit? Because this one looks like it's going to be out of range of absolutely everything. So it's quite possible that I'm not supposed to activate this on-off switch to begin with, and I need to find some other way to have access to Yoshi. Such as having the Fire Flower. Because having the Fire Flower would allow me to do a diagonal shot with Red Yoshi, and a diagonal shot would activate this bomb without activating the switch. And hey, Terminator, welcome. And yeah, Terminator, thanks for sending me the clip. I certainly hope that your son enjoyed the musical contribution that you made. The composition, I should say. Yeah, so thank you for sending that along. Let's see, where was I? Right, Yoshi is holding a POW. We know that everything here is blown open. I do want to check this interaction one more time just to see, because I really feel like... Yeah, you can grab the key like that. Now, you would need to respawn the POW. Oh, except once you spent it, it doesn't come back. Right, because I thought it might, and I don't know why I thought it would. But that's actually kind of a problem. Because you need the POW in order to get through that door over there. So that means that you need some other object to be dumped onto the right side. What you can do is carry the POW through and do maybe some other kind of Yoshi spit to get around a bumper, but that's kind of curious. Okay. I'll need to think about this, because let's take a look at the right side. I also still don't know what that P switch was all about. If it's just something that's supposed to activate for touching the axe, or if it's actually a relevant puzzle element. This is not a World Terminator. This is just a puzzle code that Zero Planes encountered in Super Expert shortly before he raided me earlier. So it was a suggested puzzle. Yeah, it looks like some of it actually is relevant, in that if we're able to go through that door, the thing is, if that door is matched with the Muncher door, which it looks like it is, there is a particular order that we need. We need to have the key first in order to get here. And we need to have the POW second in order to get here. So key and POW already have to be activated in that order in order to get all the way through. And so I don't really know what's going on with it. Oh, I see. No. Because you hit the axe. When you hit the axe in the sort of post-completion scene, you run over to P-switch. P-switch drops the spring, and then you just kind of bounce around indefinitely between the two springs. And that's the sort of ending animation. So that's all this stuff here is purely for the ending animation then. It's not actually relevant to the puzzle. One thing that we can do is probably do a Yoshi push. And the Yoshi push would potentially be able to get me the Fire Flower, perhaps. So let's say we have double red Yoshi. So yeah, we want to completely avoid the activation of this on-off switch because there's no way to activate it twice. I'm small, so I can get under the bumper and push Yoshi a little bit more. There we go. So now... Oh, I need to probably fire like this. Find a firing position that will activate the bomb without activating the one on the right. There we go. Okay, so now that's pretty solid. The thing that I haven't figured out yet now is how to grab the key without activating the bomb. Can you talk about something after you've gotten right? Of course you can. And how you may have done something differently? Yeah, absolutely. That's what puzzles are for. We should be comparing notes. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, the thing that always throws me off a little bit about this game is the way that... Yeah, you know, I would have thought that the POW is supposed to respawn when you go through your doors, but maybe the fact that it's tied to the clear condition changes something. I'm not exactly sure. Somebody who actually builds these could answer that for sure. Because I completely assumed that after the POW activation on the note block that if you go through a door, the POW would come back. I mean, that seems like a startling assumption to get wrong, given how many puzzles I played in the past. But maybe the clear condition... Oh, okay, you fired Yoshi from above instead of below. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, given that I seem to have a bit of trouble getting Yoshi into that position. Yeah, let me see here, because I think that... First of all, you can grab this. It is kind of strange to me that the POW activation would be something that undesirable. However, we know the bombs respawn. If I can run the bomb all the way over here, I can toss the bomb over and that grabs the key. We know that the tossing distance is going to be the same. The only question is whether I can do that safely without getting the bomb detonation to happen in advance. Oh, I see. Because this was still red. Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, because let's bust down as much stuff as we can with bombs. I kind of feel like I'm able to run the bomb over and drop it on the right side, but it does seem like it's a little bit distant. Let's grab Yoshi and Pow. And let's get over here. Yeah, actually, the fact that I'm going to fall onto Yoshi when I grab the bomb is a bit of a problem. But we'll see if we can deal with that. Nope. Whoops, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. I didn't mean to do that interaction. I meant to do something quite different. Hang on. The dismount animation in this game is also all kinds of strange, so... Anyway, I've got to start this one over, I think, because I completely blew it. But yeah, you can see, yeah, no respawn on a POW, but respawn on the bomb. Let me just see if I can, in fact, run the bomb. We might need to practice this. I at least have a bit of a hit buffer. Oops. Nope, let's try this again. Yeah, here's the thing about Yoshi in this game, is that the bombs just get swallowed wholesale. And UAH graduate, you're up at this hour because your sleep schedule is off. That's true of most of the people who are regulars on my stream. We are no strangers to that whatsoever. In fact, I'd say it's rather common. Yeah, that's too slow. I don't quite like that. So I don't have a good position to get up there without Yoshi kind of breaking my fall at the bottom. So I've lost a POW already, so this is kind of academic, but... Oh, you know what? No, I can swallow an egg when it's coming down. And I can spit the egg, and the egg should be able to hit. So for example... Yeah, so we just need to get the POW out of the way while we do that, since Yoshi will want to be carrying the POW. Nope. Grab the egg. Nope, not quite. I think that's doable, though. I absolutely believe that's doable, with a better position, where we don't get bumped by the bumper. Okay. Yeah, we got bumped by the bumper last time, but we get this position. Maybe not. I got bumped again, though. I don't trust that. But I feel like that's my best bet. Like, we need some kind of object to land on top of the note block that is not a POW, right? It's a little too long to run the bomb. It seems a little too long to run the Yoshi egg. But the fact that you can grab the Yoshi eggs is sort of important, perhaps. There might be something we can do with that to exploit it. Obviously we don't want to do a soft drop on this. Let's see, because I think that it should be possible to run the bomb if we're careful, but it just seems a little bit fussy to do it. So I don't quite trust that. You know, UAH graduate, that's more than what a lot of people do for the mothers on Mother's Day. So, absolutely nothing to worry about there. Okay, let's see about this, because we know the POW hits. I was kind of surprised the shell doesn't hit because I was expecting the spit to follow the same trajectory. It was kind of true that it was just bumping into the bumper every time, though, so... we are going to be out of time on this attempt. That's fine. We'll... I also noticed the spit trajectory there, that perhaps we just need to find a different spit location. In fact, whoops. Momuga, we have been on the ceiling quite a few times already. Doesn't seem to lead me anywhere except to see the ending screen and to scout ahead for that. Okay, let's move a Yoshi. Grab one flower. You know what? No, we need the flower to grab green Yoshi, so... Let's get this side out of the way, if I can. Nope, not quite. Okay, fine. We'll just do that. Okay, good. Barely missing the bomb that we do not want to activate. Nope, we're not going to be able to activate Yoshi here because of the Yoshi limits. Down we go. Okay. Yeah, let's grab Yoshi. Might as well do some of the other activations and events, like the... Whoops. Come on. Here. Need to do this. And we definitely need to break the spot under the POW, I'm sure of it. So, let's get down to here. And yeah, Grakowski, thank you for dropping by for so long. Hope you enjoyed the various plays of your levels earlier. And we will see you around. Okay, we have the POW now. I'm going to go back up. Whoops. Grab the bomb. Bomb is going to bomb the second location here. So the problem is how to grab the bomb and toss it over to the right if indeed that's what we need to do. Yeah. Eggs are not going to come down, I don't think. Well, we have two Yoshis open, no. So, yeah, no eggs. So we'll come back around here. This is an interesting question, like whether perhaps creating some kind of bouncing location using the bomb might actually be the thing we need to do in order to bounce the egg over. For example, we put POW here, grab the egg. For example, if I spit like this, no, not quite. Yeah, I was really hoping we could get that. I mean, it may just be running the bomb over. It just seems unusually risky. Like, I still feel like this is plan A. And that we just miss over and over. But maybe we actually need... Here's the thing, the POW has not yet been activated. Let's say we go around. Yeah, if the POW has not been activated yet, because it's bound to the clear condition, it does respawn, which is good news. Because it means that we're allowed to dump the POW like this. And that might actually do it. Yeah. And then we respawn through here and grab the second POW, and then we have everything we need in order to complete the rest. Grab the second POW, that gets me through the door. And that is going to be the clear. No, except I need to not do that. I need to only clear muncher number 1 by spitting against a wall. So let's start over. That just means we'll get a faster clear, so. Okay. Push. Maybe not both of you at once. I mean, the solution is in hand at this point. It's just that sometimes having the solution in hand doesn't stop me from making execution mistakes for the next hour. Okay, that's going to be correct. Let's let that blow up, and then we'll reset through this room for Green Yoshi. Yeah, so the POW, once activated, does not respawn, probably because it's bound to the clear condition. I feel like if it's not bound to the clear condition, that's not the case, right? I mean, somebody can verify that for me, but... yeah, Mamuga, the advert level where I solved the level an hour before I actually beat it, yes, I did. It was maybe slightly painful, given that we spent more time trying to execute the solution than actually trying to solve it. I only did the first of the advert series, though. It is a 3-part series. Let's blow up the second location first, before I do anything. Okay, that's good. No, I didn't want to activate the POW. That's a mistake. So yeah, as we can see, even once I have mapped out the solution, we may be far from the actual clear. Okay. Okay, good. I actually got Yoshi slightly out of the way. I mean, there are enough plays on this that I have no particular expectations of getting a speed record, but we'll just try to do things efficiently since we know how everything's going to go. Okay, so that's done. We grab green. Yeah, green. Green is going to save the POW, get it out of the way. Once we get that out of the way, I then take the bomb. Drop it in here. Oh, no. That's okay, I don't actually need a Fire Flower anymore. That execution mistake, I think, is in fact excusable. So let's just get out of here, reset, which we need to do anyway in order to get the red egg. And oh, yeah, no, that's the execution issue. Except, no, we can just back over here. And yeah, UAH graduate, that happens to us quite a lot. Sometimes the clear comes quite a long time after the solution, depending on the style of puzzle, of course. Yeah, let's do the key thing first, actually. Since I know how to do it. And since it's within easy reach. And I'm going to miss anyway. So, like I was saying about execution errors. And yeah, we don't have access to the second egg until Red Yoshi gets out of the way. Let's just restart. I mean, I can't just do a soft reset here, but it seems like it's too much of a pain. No, we can just do a soft reset, whatever. We just need to go back for the POW. Oh, this guy's going to Actually, that's going to cause all kinds of problems with the bomb now. Let's just get back through here. You never try to confirm this, but if you don't need the Fire Flower, you may as well get Small Right to help get off Yoshi. You only need the Fire Flower to activate the bomb to the left without hitting the bomb over here. The Fire Flower otherwise is not used for anything. But I don't see how that would allow you to shortcut anything. I don't quite see what you're describing. Yeah, okay, no, I didn't want that. I just wanted the bomb. There we go. That's accurate. Now we... Come on. That's the thing about one-screen puzzles, is that because they're built for... This is slightly larger than one screen when it scrolls, but because they're built in such a confined space, often when you have things like Yoshi dismounts, they can be really fuzzy just from the very limited amount of room you have to work with. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I have actually played some puzzles that are designed around that concept, like restricting your space when you are in fact big. Okay. Let's get a spit. There we go. Go back, grab the POW. This time let's remember to spit to the left instead of just deciding to go immediately. Okay, there we go. And that should be the clear. And let's see if the closing animation where we bounce between the springs actually behaves as predicted. And thank you so much for the cheers. Oh no, he's just going to get bounced. Okay. So yeah, I don't know if, other than the firing direction for the Fire Flower, your solution looked much different than that. But that is a clear. I don't know if this is a maker who has done very many puzzles. Oh, very popular maker. Not someone I'm familiar with, I don't think. But a whole bunch of one-screen puzzles. A lot of puzzles, actually. Oh, one built for Cyphus. Cyphus being a puzzle speedmaster. I wonder if I have seen this maker around then. Like, I haven't played his levels, obviously, but the puzzle community does kind of run around the same circles. I don't want to do a number 4 in a series, but we can do something else, like... We'll just pick something. One screen puzzle starter pack. Interesting. Lose weight to beat this level. That seems very popular. 15th birthday. Oh, wow, okay. Can't legally drink yet, so he's just gonna take that out and building puzzles. Yeah, it doesn't particularly matter which one we pick. We'll just... Let's do the popular one. Oh, this is a Sieve Watcher. It's surprisingly simple. Let's lose weight to beat this level. 65% just means that there's going to be some kind of gentle reset, I'm sure. Oh, it's themed. Okay, never mind. Let's do something that's actually marked as puzzle solving. Maybe that's also a puzzle, but I'm not really sure. One screen puzzle number 35. It's a long, long series. Let's take a look at this. And yeah, thank you once again for all the GGs and for the cheers. And for Momuga doing a little purple scream of puzzles, puzzles, puzzles. Okay, so clear condition is defeat the bully. We can do that using the hammer and the... Well, the hammer would push the bully, but then you can do it using the exclamation block crush. Current piece of information we don't have is the travel pattern of the exclamation block. Looks like it would have to go up, though. Hammer is going to give you a bit of crate stacking. The crate stacking will be necessary to get you through the key door because the exclamation block will not fall into the grid in a place that allows you to do that. A key door is going to be the exit. I believe the bully is probably holding the key. Breaking stuff is okay because we have crates. We can probably just break stuff. Let's see how the doors are matched, though. We need to check that before anything else. Okay, that door is matched to that corner. And this only goes up by 1, so we would want the bully to fall into this position. And then we kill it there. Except to do that, we can't just push the bully this way. We need to, brace it with something. However, if we spawn blocks using the hammer, it doesn't matter if we take damage. We can still use the blocks. And so, for example, if I have a block over here, I would need 2 blocks, though, for the bully to come over. So can I get some kind of 2-block stack if I don't have the hammer in that position? Unclear. However, if I come back here... Oh, you know what? There's also the POW block. POW block just straight up kills the bully if it's within range. That's probably going to be it instead. Then that doesn't explain the exclamation block, though. I feel like the exclamation block is there to strongly suggest that you use it as the kill zone. It looks so much like it's supposed to be a kill zone, right? And that you're supposed to take the hammer across somehow. Let's say, for example, that I've got invincibility frames. Nope, I don't have them for long enough to cheese that. Like if you take damage, come over here. Nope, not long enough. Okay, didn't think so. That would be too cheesy. Okay, let's just see how anything else is matched. Just gotta check all the doors. Okay, this gives you the POW. Interesting thing about the POW, of course, is that the POW would give you the on switch, which deactivates the spike block. Okay, yeah, that's understandable. So, let's say this door is matched to the one by the on switch. And that should be within POW range. Oh, wait. Are we within POW range now? No, we have nothing to strike against. Unless, of course, I stack. And stack. And stack. Come on. Okay, never mind. Can I actually hit here? Yes, I can. So I don't need that door. That door seems to imply that you take it, take a POW with you through there. We don't actually need that. We come through here. And then I punch the bully such that the bully goes to the left. Let's just go up like this. Yeah, Momuga, I really should get some kind of a blind emote as well, I guess. Okay, nope, nope. Let's not have him fall off the edge just yet. Before I do that, we need to drop a bunch of crates over here. And then I need to, whoops, nope. Bump him from the right side. Hang on. Let's just file these a little more accurately. No, not like that. Face this way. The hammer is a very fussy item sometimes. Okay, bump him. Draw him over here. Kill. And there we go. And, well, I mean, it's just a down flop. We made it here with a hammer. We can just grab that. But yeah, nice, short, and sweet. I mean, it's a good puzzle. It's nice sometimes to have some that are just fairly straightforward, especially given some of the other ones we played in recent weeks. In a lot of recent weeks, I've had some puzzle streams where we only wind up solving like 3 puzzles over 3 hours or something because we just take forever. So it's kind of nice to have some things that are breezy. without too many janky exploits or anything. Just straight up logic. So Time Machine version 2, Time Machine 4. Interesting. We can do a few of these. Let's see if there are any other time machines in that series, just to see if it's supposed to be played as a series. Too Much Eating. Tiny Tanks. Kevin. Ooh, that sounds threatening. Okay, let's do the time machine ones. Why not? No, that's an auto-scroll. Maybe it's not a puzzle after all. You know what? Let's just do this one. I don't necessarily trust the tags. I mean, obviously people can re-tag them if they're not locked. And sometimes tags don't really do it level justice. I'm just trying to prioritize the ones that are very clearly going to be puzzles. So an auto-scroll gently pushes you all the way over. Let's see if the reset door is actually matched to the start. Or if you get squished. Do you get squished? Yes, you do. So... okay, so it's going to be a puzzle where you have kind of a limited amount of time to do things. Okay, so every time you scroll through, you can change the state a little by altering some kind of object. One thing you could do, for instance, is spawn here. The off switch allows you to scroll forward and grab the trampoline. Grabbing the trampoline allows you to drop down. And we can't hit anything right now, but you can tap the on switch, and then that will allow me to hit the P switch, for instance. Oh, wanted to grab that. It's not quite successful. Yeah, so you just kind of have a limited amount of time to read what's going on. Oh, okay, so that's going to be a P interaction that I didn't foresee. Mamuga, you don't do the Time Machine series in order. That's a very good point. That completely defeats the purpose. Okay, so Snowpokey gets killed by the P. Ideally, that would actually give you a snowball, wouldn't it? Whoops. Yeah, no, I'm supposed to bounce the Snowpokey, probably. Unless I come through here and the P block just straight up kills it. But yeah, I would need to grab the spring the second time, I think. Because then you do like some kind of spring toss or something on something like a snowball, for instance. And if you do that, then that would drop the fire flower. Like, the idea is that you want to kind of put the Pokey into snowball form and then up throw a spring towards it, and then you have a snowball that lands on top of the jump block to give you the fire flower. I think that's how it's going to work. So yeah, we'll do this once again. We'll activate the P switch next. Nope, forgot to activate the on-off. Let's do that first. Okay. And does on-off matter here? I don't think it actually does. And then that will kill Pokey, which doesn't help because I would need to activate the P switch a second time. Right, because if I have the P switch activated a second time, then I am able to probably send an object up there. I can't send myself up there, but I can definitely do some kind of object drop to punch that thing. The fact that I have a limited amount of time to read this does throw me off a little bit, but let's just do this quickly. We should have tapped this. Actually, no, the on-off state doesn't particularly matter here, I don't think. Except for, of course, activating the P switch. And then, can I tap that guy? Yes, yes, because then that drops the fire flower. There we go, and I had the opportunity to melt as much as possible. Whoops. Okay, lost that. That's fine. That'll stay melted. Not a big deal. Although I'll need to do this again. Kind of like the flexibility of being able to salvage things in a different order if necessary. We do need this. And then we're through here. Okay. On the switch here seems to imply that you need something like a snowball. Oh, okay. I didn't expect that to be matched to this key door here. Nope. That guy gives you a key. That allows me to get to the key door, but I don't have an object to use to smack that. I feel like I need a second snowball or something. Like if I sort of captured one snowball, set it down, took a second snowball, killed him, and then took the first snowball, then I would be able to drop through here and then do the rest. Also, P-switch. If you hit the P-switch, then that gives you something through the pipe anyway. But the on-off interaction is what you would need in order to get over to the Shellmet. Now, why would I want the Shellmet? Not sure yet, but let's loop around a second half here. Okay. Oh, shouldn't have dropped it in that location. Let's just drop it here. We already killed him for the key, actually, so that was not, in fact, necessary. One-way panels are just to constrain the snowball, I think, but... I mean, we have the key. We can drop into the left and activate the on-off switch, and see how things go from there. Okay. Interesting, this red block to the right of the spike position. I wonder what that's all about. Probably just to make sure that snowballs break against it, perhaps. Now, I don't quite know what this will give me. But I do know that if I pop through here, I'll still remain in the off state. If I'm still remaining in the off state... Oh, you get a spawn block on a big guy over here. Okay. That's okay, because you can just get him to throw to the right side, right? That gets me through. Checkpoint. Great. Take damage there. Okay. Okay, so Spiny holds the key. Yeah, you have to read things pretty quickly here. Oh no, that's gonna be Squish. So you cannot take Yoshi through the door. Or you can, but you have to dismount it. Oh, except if the switch is in the on state, you get stuck up there anyway, so... Got a couple of things going on there. I think, though, that I should be able to come through here and dismount. And... yeah, I was trying to grab the fire flower, but through the one-way panel, no I don't. I mean, I could, but I just missed. And yeah. Okay, there we go. That works for me. Nope, my mistake. Tapped that excessively. However, you can see that then that unlocks access to the next on-off switch. You could do that with Fire Yoshi, though, prior to that. You don't need Fire Flower for that. But I haven't really had time to read everything yet, so that's part of the issue we're running into here. But Yeah, it looks like if I just drop out of here, drop here, then we can at least do that. And... okay. Kind of wonder if I still have a star here. I can grab the key. Yeah, great. Well, we need an on-off activation. I feel like I do want Yoshi here because of the whole set of diagonals that you see above. We can go through here. I don't know what that gives me just yet. Ah, okay. Kind of looking at that POW and wondering what to do with it. I think it has something to do with bumping the snowball, probably, but haven't had a good look at it just yet. Yeah, I really just need to read this a few times, I think, just to see what's going on. None of that's going to activate the POW. And yeah, I do need to activate the POW because that's the only thing that will kill the Muncher and allow me to head upstairs. The way to do it is to set up some kind of deflection to get the snowball to bounce back. So let's take a look and see whether there's any... oh, yeah, you use Green Yoshi to grab the spring. Green Yoshi grabs the spring, Green Yoshi drops the spring, and then that allows you to take the snowball. Yeah, like that. Might as well take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Never know when you might need it. Ah, no. No time for it anyway. That's okay, that gets me through. Okay, more scrolling. How kills the Muncher? I don't know. We can't do that yet. See some BO on the right side. Don't know if it's a boss or something else. Looks like somebody's out of doors and is using the pipes for resets, probably because of that. Okay, still just doing the initial read-through for this thing here. You would need Fireflower to get through the right side, or Red Yoshi for that matter. But probably Fireflower by the looks of it. I haven't had a chance to activate any of this stuff yet, but... Fireflower bound to Red Pipe, okay. Just need to read this over and over until it sticks. Fireflower bound to Red Pipe, interesting. Ah, up throw. We need to do that more quickly because then that'll blow up. Ah, no, it did blow up the block. Now that it blows up the block, we can see if the block was spawn blocking anything or if there is any other kind of interaction that has been revealed. Yeah, allows me to go up, and going up allows me to drop the snake block, which then pushes the Muncher, allows me to go through, grab Yoshi, which then allows me to grab the Fireflower. Yeah, this is a neat list so far that's, you know, I wouldn't have discovered were it not for the fact that Zero Planes encountered this in Endless today. Encountered this maker. Okay, so we don't know how to grab the Fireflower yet. I haven't really been able to look at it very carefully. Let's take a look once again. Ah, yes, okay, you need to do something to remove the Muncher. And removing the Muncher allows Fireflower to spawn from the pipe. You remove the Muncher by taking a POW. I have the POW in hand, or in mouth right now. POW grabs the flower. Grabbing the flower allows me to go through here. I don't want to hit the P because that will block things off. So, what is this saying? Bonus. Of course we're doing the bonus. No question about it. We didn't come all this way just to get a standard clear. Okay, P-Balloon, interesting. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be some kind of a snowball hit perhaps on the bomb over here. Might be something set on fire. Let me just reset through this before I do anything with the P-Balloon. This is sort of interesting, and it looks like death, though. There's going to be a side hit on the on-off switch here, which you can do using the P-Balloon. Not sure about the track box that's over the on-off switch up there. But we'll grab the P and we'll see what to do from here. It looks like key is the objective in this section. Let's just do this. Whoops. Okay, that's interesting. It allows you to have a climbing segment. Also means that you're not allowed to come through here, though. Oh, okay. It's probably just vines, not because of its a climbing segment, but because that could be vulnerable to bombs or something, perhaps, and that's being prevented. Anyway, we'll see what the off state does over here, and yeah, have a good night, Mamuga. Hope you enjoyed all of the puzzles that we saw today. Ah, okay, so we want to... Yeah, we want to activate blocks before we come over here, such that we escort the Pokey over. Once we escort the Pokey over, then the Pokey should be able to drop on top of the key. So let's do this. I'm pretty sure I do understand it. Yep, Pokey goes up. And that should get me the key. Interesting what's going on with the pipe over here. Ah, no, because the key just gives you the POW. The key doesn't get you out of here. The key gets you to POW, and then that's further progression. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. The POW will respawn, though. If I take damage off of something, then I can actually grab the POW. And then I need to figure out how to activate that block then. Blue pipe down here. Ah, no, that's just the entry. Okay. Suppose I do this. Come back around. Can I take a hit? Yes, I can, because the Pokey doesn't go there anymore. Now that that's been unlocked, we come through here, we grab the POW. And then, how do I... No, it's not going to be that. It's quite obviously not going to be that. I need to light up the bomb, though, and to light up the bomb I need to activate with something. Yeah, as you can see, the POW consistently does respawn through the door when it's not tied to a clear condition. The clear condition was the issue we had last time. 18 seconds. Well, I need to redo a bunch of stuff to get back here. It's okay. I wonder if the spring is obtainable. I don't think it is, but... we'll see. It seems like there is a bit of a final twist here that I haven't quite sorted out just yet. Okay, kind of nice to have an optional bonus. Once again, let's just do the loop to grab key. We'll need to loop back around to do the key activation. And in the meantime, we can think about what else can be done. Yeah, I wonder if the on-off activation matters here. Yes, it does for constraining the Pokey the next time we're here. Yeah, still unclear on the activation under the bomb that we have yet to see. Likely, oh, it's probably going to involve a snowball, actually. So to do that, we need to kill the Pokey. And to kill the Pokey, we can just probably POW it. I think maybe POWing it may give me the snowball. Let's go back and see. Good. Moreover, the bomb is not on screen yet, which is important. There we go. And that should be it. Okay, everything's gonna blow up over here. Let's not die to this thing. And let's watch the final cutscene. Yeah, that's just gonna trap you. We could have seen that. Although if you... Okay, I guess you can't get past the gate. I was thinking about like how to potentially exploit that. But I think the fake out is going to happen either way. Hey, that went pretty well. Let's see... Yeah, a lot of similar concepts here. One Screen Puzzle Starter Pack version 2. Might be interesting. It's surprisingly simple. I'm curious. Scythe is scoring all the records here, as usual. Reach the goal after hitting all one P-switch. Okay, I mean, well, here's the P-switch. Looks like this question block is bound to a POW. The P-switch would probably transform this. You know what? We need to scout ahead first. So let's see if the P-switch actually converts all of the bricks or if any of them are not coins. All of them are coins, okay. I just wanted to check. And, of course, we can't actually grab this in this style, but you can see there's an SMP2 mushroom later on. SMP2 mushroom is going to allow you to pluck snow. And so that's going to be important. I think SMP2 mushroom is going to be the key then if snow is going to reveal itself that way. There isn't actually a way forward right now, apart from the interaction that we just saw. Where you do have to hit the P first, although then if you have to hit the P first, I wonder if the clear condition is just there to prevent the P from respawning, perhaps. Anyway, it looks complicated, but it's surprisingly simple. Okay. SMP2 mushroom looks like it's going to be the key. But... we'll see, because obviously, if you hit the P-switch, the Muncher is going to drop. If the Muncher drops, you need the POW to destroy it. Yeah, the initial read-through... except you can also not really deal with that. Because you don't want the POW activation to be doing something like killing the Spiny Hat, right? Yeah, that's not gonna work. You want a POW activation, but then... Yeah, no, the POW activation can happen if it's... Let's see what the interaction is when the POW is destroyed by the coin block transforming back. Let's just try this again. Just from an order of operations perspective, I'm kind of curious. So, for example, let's just... Oh yeah, no, that grabs the coin because you're activating it from below. Yeah, it still looks like that the POW is going to be related to the SMB2 mushroom. Yeah, not going to be anything like that. So, we would need some way to actually activate the POW. Not quite seeing that just yet. We do just need the P-switch. But if you hit the P-switch, then you have some issues going forward. A key attached over here. Might just need to start over and take a look at this fresh. I see no meaningful interactions that I can do right now other than hitting the P-switch first, but then I need to deal with the Muncher. Okay, because let's say I hit that. Well, that's not accomplishing much of note. Surprisingly simple, you say. Well, I mean, yeah, all of the objects are fairly clearly signaled. That's not really going to be an issue. The question is whether there's anything I could do other than hitting the P and dropping the Muncher right off the bat, because the actual space of interactions I have available to me is not that big. Just looking at that on-off switch and thinking about what the activation is going to be. Key in the top left. Yeah, I would have thought that would be something involving getting the Munchers out of the way, perhaps, but fundamentally, I mean, I know how to activate the P, I don't know what to activate after the fact, because you have Muncher in the way over here, and you have POW not really doing much of its job. Don't really know how the key doors are meshed. There are 5 of them on screen. Some of them could be paired, one could be an exit. Okay, P-switch is spawn the POW. And once the POW is spawned, okay, then what do? It just sits there. If the POW just sits in this location, I mean, ideally, the thing that would happen is that you wouldn't collect this coin at all, but... Or maybe so. Okay, Muncher over here is not going to be that interactable. Let's see. I just don't see any other first move other than doing this. There's no first move that's available to me. And I don't see a second move that's available to me other than grabbing the POW, so... That seems odd. Yeah, okay. I'm just looking at how everything is matched right now, and the fact that there is access to a second POW past the key... Not the key, but past green door. Green door would have to be unlocked using spawning a bomb and probably destroying the passage. And that is at that location. Here, though, I just don't know. Like, I'm looking at what could potentially do an on-off switch toggle, perhaps, and I just don't quite see it. Well then. Surprisingly simple, you say. I mean, hopefully not anything built on something unfair, like a hidden detection or something. But it does kind of clue us into the idea that there might just be a gigantic number of red herrings. Maybe some things that are positional, like claws or swamps that are off screen. I kind of want to look at the preview screen for this one, just to see what's going on off screen. No, I mean, we've basically seen everything. I mean, it does poke out the ceiling if you want to go there, but there is the implicit scroll stop of building on the bottom half already. Castle is just going to be off doing its own thing. Reach the goal after hitting all one piece switch. Well, we've done that. It's not like I can speed my way through this falling muncher here. But yeah, I don't see that much of a solution space. That's the issue. That there aren't very many interactions I can do. I could stand in the right place, but E-switch does activate that trap instantly. So yeah, SMB2 Mushroom would be pretty major development given the snowball access. Surprisingly simple, apparently. That might be something that comes off to me as a far greater challenge. Yeah, lots of locations that we could see for springs being potentially lowered. I just don't see what the first result is supposed to be here. I mean, this... No, not quite. So, key is bound to the question block on the right side. Looks like you'd potentially want to bomb your way down there. Really surprisingly simple, though. It's really feels as though I'm just overthinking all of it. Okay, not quite. Muncher holds a key. Interesting. I don't actually have a good way to kill it yet. Unless there's some way to, you know, get it blocked up on top of a state block. But there's just nothing to interact with. And so, what do you even do? Let me think about it. Sometimes it can be some hidden information, although this is a maker who I think so far has showed no signs of doing things that tricksy. Yeah, the problem is that I'm not even able to sort of get into middle game on this level. And make any kind of incremental progress to some kind of chunky middle section. Yeah, looking at some of these locations here in terms of where the red blocks have gone. Maybe I should have read the description. Oh no, I did read the description. And apparently it's surprisingly simple. So if most of this is a distraction, then well, how does that affect anything else in the appointment calendar? I mean, yeah, getting the Muncher back in action, getting Maul back in action rather, is something that very popular request. Well, the spiny shell is going to be a little bit out of reach. E-switch. Gives you Hal, gives you Muncher, gives you access to the right side. How can't be activated by anything here. Unless there's something we're missing. Yeah, I just don't see the interactions that we're capable of. Given that the only two actions I have are hit P and hit question block, really. So unless there's some corner I can explore, or some reliable way of getting over this character here, that might be highly useful. Yeah, I don't really think I see it. Just a lot of moving parts that are apparently mostly red herrings. Because I'm looking at the central column, and basically how the various levels being built right now do have that kind of continuity to them between, you know, similar styles and inspirations. In the meantime, though, I just don't see anything to do other than grab that. Like, I don't think that's actually something we can make as a jump, but what is the clear rate on this? Let me just check quickly. One minute record from Cyphus, so it is something fairly elaborate. 1 minute 24 for the creator clear time. There is something going on here. It's not surprisingly simple, at least not yet. I mean, what am I even allowed to do at this stage? That's the difficulty. Like, if this were something that consistently managed to get to an upper level, that's a different story. But everything looks just totally inaccessible right now. Particularly because we have such limited access to the functionality of old volumes. Yeah, I don't know if I see this. There's just no interaction space, except it is very well liked. There's tons of clears on it. I'm just missing something. Because if you hit the P, what else can you even do with it in the current layout? Like any kind of other rule of thumb that you need to be aware of. Because there's nothing to interact with here anymore. Strange. Well, there's lots of constraints all over the place. I don't think this is something I can ever make. So it's not going to be anything that athletic as part of the solution. Reach the goal holding a P switch, or hitting the P switch, yeah. Yeah, I might have to call it on this one for the time being and come back to it, I think. And just admit defeat for now, because I just don't see how to make it playable. Like, there's nothing playable about it until either we figure out how to remotely do the on-off switching over here. And actually, even that I'm not sure would help. Yeah, unless there's something I can do to get rid of the central muncher here. Oh, you know what? I bumped it up. Okay. Well, okay, that was easier than expected. Alright, that's fine. If that was the solution all along, we'll take it. Okay. Well, that was interesting. Let's leave that brick for the time being. Also, the fact that I have this now is a bit of a problem. Before I grab the Shelmet, I need to activate the POW first. If I activate the POW first and then grab the Shelmet, then I'm able to come back here and then hit the POW. Okay, okay. We're finally making some headway. Finally making some headway. Now, what was I doing here previously to make that work? Because I did send... Okay, just a double tap, quick double tap. And... yeah, spawn that first. I'm gonna grab that coin because it might actually get me through the key door. Okay, that gets me a key. And we come up over here. See how these doors are matched. Matched to a POW. Okay, we can break all this. I didn't really want to break this as well, but... Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. It's obviously not what I wanted to do. We are finally breaching this, though, after spending way too long just staring at the first screen. I think it's actually a matter of giving up on the correct solution too quickly. That very easy to look at this and just kind of get it in your head that this is never going to work, even when other people are doing it. There we go, just 2 quick hits in succession. Okay. Yeah, now I'm able to activate the POW for the key. The question is, do I want to do that yet? Or is there some other interaction that I want to do? After the on-off switch, I'm able to bust through right side. I have to keep in mind where I could potentially take damage to if I want to peel the helmet off. Now we can grab the POW. Oh, whoops, didn't mean to destroy that. I was hoping to stand on top of it. Yeah, that's not going to do it when I'm so many spaces down and when I have no access to that anymore. I think I was finally on the right track, though. I had the right idea for some of it. Yeah, double tap. No, I did not want to grab that. I have to exercise a little bit of discipline here when it comes to not wrecking all of the possible pathways. Okay. Still no Mother Tree, apparently. Okay, that's gonna be through. We can do a bit of a collaborative moment here. Now, I don't want to break the bits with the POW just yet. However, if I do this... Okay, suddenly everybody's an expert on something they are not actually an expert about. That sounds like the internet for you. Seems harder than usual, though. I may actually be locked here, depending on how rescues go. Yeah, I may have to tap out of this one for the time being. We're finally making progress. I don't really want to ditch it yet, but the stream is going to run a little bit long, so I may just try to finish off with another 1 or 2. Just to lighten up a bit. Okay. Got this. Okay. That's fine. Okay, move on up this step here. And let's not just break everything haphazardly. Let's actually think about this first. Interesting, one thing that does allow you to do is come back here and also potentially take damage. Taking damage may be useful here in terms of getting me over to a good position. So, for example, yeah, it looks like we'll want to do something like this, for instance. And then when we peel off the helmet, we can raise the POW block here and then jump on top of that without any further disruption for the time being. So yeah, we can take this idea here, and one of our objectives will be to eventually hit the on-off switch. Okay, through here we go. Still need to take some damage. Peel this. It's okay. We have a way to do it now. Well, let's not get bumped. That would be a dreadful way to go. Okay, POW is going to give me access to this thing, whoops, here, which... Oh no, mistake. Didn't want to back through that door. Anyway, that is going to be progress. We're going to take a look at that room, which looks like it's some kind of bomb activation room. Just an overly complex one. Come on. Here we go. Okay. We need the keys, so we punch that. Go through here. Punch 2, that's something that works so far. And yeah, I do want the ability to take some damage. We come back through here. Okay. Activate. Well, this may or may not clean a few things up. It would allow me to jump through here, first of all. We already did kind of have our starter here. Yeah, that's correct. Doesn't explain how I'm unable to hit this now. Okay. No, I am stuck here actually now that I no longer have the Shelmet in tow, but it's not hard to fix. We can just grab it here. Okay. There we go. I guess technically we can try to drop the spring. I don't think it actually does anything for me though. One thing I could do immediately here is just punch everything. And 1 second, let's just acknowledge the raid from Kiwo 404. And thank you, Kiwo, for coming along. I don't think I'm familiar with Tetra.io. I don't know if it's like an open Tetris or something else. That actually sounds rather interesting, so might be something I have to go back to look for at some point. But welcome. I'm not going to be on for that much longer, since my ability to play puzzles is beginning to taper off after having had a very productive evening with many clears earlier today. Anyway, this is going to allow me to drop through here. Ah, you just did a test stream. Okay, well, hope the test stream gave you the information you wanted, and everything is fine. Okay, so SMB2 mushroom, that's kind of important. So I want to blow this, take a hit, Okay, good. SMB2 is fantastic. Now I'm potentially able to actually pick things up and move them, so... Yeah, I thought I managed to get one key off the muncher already. We do need a second key up there, which will allow me to... well, first of all, I mean, we can go directly, in fact. Bunch of clouds here that look very much like they're within our grip. The idea is that I want some kind of object through here. SMB2 carrying objects does not take anything through doors though, so that's something we have to be aware of. I do, however, have the ability to take snowballs. Let's do this. Whoops. No, we can just do this and it'll roll. There we go. So I need some kind of object that I can take with me, and I do know what that's going to be. It's going to be this guy here. Okay. Move up. Okay, now this is suddenly going smoothly after having had a really bad start. So Tetra.io is online Tetris, I see, okay. But you just wanted to get a technical test in general, so hope everything went well on your end. And don't know what you plan to be streaming in the longer term, but definitely keep us updated. Anyway, it is surprisingly simple. I spent a long time just staring at the starts when really that was not hard. It actually does kind of live up to its name by the time you're done with it. Now, I think I might want to cut off fairly early tonight. Usually I do run for about 4 hours, but we have some potential scheduling conflicts tomorrow. So having had a whole bunch of clears today, I think that's maybe a good time to stop. But yeah, good thing we actually managed to find this profile. Very helpful to have that, because this is actually a pretty big treasure trove. Ah, okay, so there are multiple time machine levels. Indeed. After having done number 2. Yeah, lots of one-screens. We should actually look into this profile a little bit deeper sometime. On one of the other puzzle streams. I don't know if there's going to be a super world here or anything. Nope. Just a lot of piecemeal levels. So yeah, we got, what is it, 3 clears off this profile. That's good. A whole bunch of others today, including some really difficult ones. I think that's a good time to just call it for now, so... Thank you once again, everybody, for joining me. In terms of the schedule this week, we're usually back to do another bonus maker stream that's kind of on the Thursday to Friday slot, same time. Usually some kind of maker feature or super world, but then sometimes we also catch up on some things that I have not yet finished from viewer levels, or sometimes some uncleared content as well. So just stay tuned, we'll have something there. Viewer levels returns with the regular schedule on the Friday to Saturday and Saturday to Sunday streams, and of course occasionally we are also still doing Scrabble on the side. So thank you everybody for joining me, and we will scan around for a raid, probably somebody who's doing Mario Maker. Usually I try to find viewer levels, but sometimes it could be somebody else completely. And with that in mind, that's going to be all from me. Thank you for joining me for this stream, and have a good night, or good morning, or perhaps you're even getting into good afternoon, wherever you are. And I think I know where I will send you off to, but for now, fare thee well.